All right, the Jets, another team that gave us a little bit of a positive surprise this year, and they've got a Thursday night game coming up against the Jaguars, and all of a sudden that game's becoming more interesting because of the Jaguars, who are in striking distance in the AFC South. Mike White has that rib injury that caused him to go to the hospital for precautionary testing on Sunday. Here's Robert Saleh, head coach of the Jets, updating the media yesterday on the status of Mike White and the all-important question, Chris, of who will play quarterback if for some reason Mike White can't. Here's Coach Saleh.
Well, I'm not going to get into the details. I know that what they saw was good enough for him to get back on the plane, and he passed all that stuff. He just talking to him, he feels good. So he's, again, we're just trying to let this kind of play out just to see how, he's still fresh off the game. So we'll see how things play out over today, tomorrow, and Wednesday.
Are you hopeful of having him Sunday?
Yeah. We're preparing as if we have him.
Robert, obviously, Mike's injury put some spotlight on your number 2 quarterback. Is Zach ready for that, or do you plan to keep going status quo with Joe and Zach inactive?
Zach's ready for everything, but at the same time, I've still got to meet with the offensive staff and just kind of not reevaluate, but just make sure we finish the evaluation process and all that. So again, that's another one with regards to the backup quarterback that I'll have answers for you guys on Wednesday. But Zach's fine. He's been working hard for the last couple of weeks. He's in a great mental headspace, and so he's ready for whatever we ask out of him.
So here's my interpretation. They're concerned that Mike White's not going to be able to play, but they're not going to tell us anything until they have to. That's my first read on it. And Robert Saleh has
they're hopeful he does play.
If your rib injury is bad enough that you have to go to the hospital to get checked, and the reason that you would go to the hospital to get checked is to make sure that the rib isn't broken to the point where you have to worry about it physically breaking off from the cage and floating around inside of you. That would be an important reason. Also, make sure you don't have a punctured lung. But it's a serious injury, sufficiently serious to go to a hospital and get checked. So, okay, he's fine, right? He doesn't have some serious condition. He's still got whatever it was that caused it to make sure that it didn't reach the level of serious condition. So I think they're concerned he's not going to be able to go. Now, Chris, this is the ultimate litmus test to me as to whether or not they still care about Zach Wilson and care about him as part of their future, not care about him as a human, but or whether this is a guy they're still trying to work with long term. If they don't put him back on the field, if Mike White can't play, then they're just done with him, and the rest of it is aimed at maximizing their trade leverage. Am I wrong?
No, I don't. You're not wrong. Hey, Mike White did a good job the other day. Played well, definitely. And hopefully he can play, certainly. And I think too, they bring him to the hospital, Mike, with some of those type of hits and stuff. Too, they, hey, check his spleen. We see guys get lacerated kidneys at times with those type of hits as well. So maybe that was, a little bit on the radar just to double check that. But rib injury, certainly uncomfortable for a quarterback. It's that same thing we were talking about a little bit with Brock Purdy. It's the torquing, the oblique muscles are all there, connected to the lower ribs, all that. So there's issues. But Mike, to me, this is one of the weirdest situations in football. It's quietly, to me, one of the biggest stories in the game right now. It's a number 2 pick of the draft, 5-2. They bring in the backup quarterback. They go 1-2 with him, and they can't find the end zone. And the team is like, he's the best. He's the greatest thing ever. It's weird. Yes. And then, of course, when you add on the players the way Garrett Wilson and some of the receivers talk, it makes it seem like, the players don't love Zach Wilson. And then you add on the fact, Mike, that the Jets fans don't like Zach Wilson. And I'm not being mean in that. I think I'm being kind and saying don't like. I get the word hate thrown to me a lot with Zach Wilson because people know where I had him ranked, and I got 2 Jet fans at the gym yesterday telling me I hate Zach Wilson. The Jet fans hate him. They don't look
but
good.
Why?
And then
why do they hate him?
Well, I don't know.
What did he ever do to them?
It's a little bit of a. I don't know. I don't know.
I could offer one. I could offer one.
Sure.
I could offer one possibility, but I won't. I'll tell you during the break.
Okay. Well, damn.
Anybody out there? No.
But either way, so no,
that's
the way it's kind of gone that way, and it's weird. And as you know, in the NFL and in certain cities, the perception becomes a reality. And if he doesn't play this week, or if he isn't the backup, yeah, it's weird. And the whole league thinks it's weird. The Jets seem to be the only one that think this is okay. Everybody is looking at it going, this is a weird situation. And they're starting to go down a hole of where I don't know where you come back from it. I don't. And they're starting to put Zach Wilson in the position to where I don't know if you can overcome the way the team has made you look and the way the fan base and the WFAN reaction. I don't know if you can overcome it. I mean, that's to me. You're getting to a point here where, like, I don't know. I'm going to say it. If I'm Zach Wilson, I don't know if I'd want to sit and stay with the Jets anymore. That's all I'm going to say. It's very weird. It's about as strange as I've ever seen a situation. I can remember a top quarterback going 5-2, having a really ugly game, saying no in a post-game press conference, and a whole city who wanted to turn on him already just totally turned on him, and then it seemed like players on the team did too. I'm very interested to see how this plays out.
I think this is playing out toward them trading him after the season, and they're trying to do it as easily as possible without blowing their leverage. Because some of your best leverage when it comes to trading a player is, now we'll just keep him. We'll just keep him. Why would we trade him? And as Mike White emerges,
but they need to make him a backup.
It becomes harder and harder to sell it.
Right.
It becomes harder to sell.
Harder to sell it, too, when you keep him under a hoodie. Right.
He's looking like the Gorton's fisherman out there on the sidelines.
Nobody's going to believe you. Oh, yeah, they love him. The organization loves him. You know, so that's where, you know, they've mismanaged the perception around him a little bit. And then, like I said, they let too many players talk. I mean, Garrett Wilson took a low blow at him in training camp. Remember when he got hurt? And he was like, well, Joe Flacco throws a nicer ball. And he kind of made all these, took underhanded shots at Zach Wilson then, let alone some of the other things that had gone along. So that's where... I've never seen a high pick be in a kind of a spot like this, and I don't know where it's going to go.
What struck me too was it's not just the Jets players that are praising him now. I talked to Greg Russo of the Bills after the game on Sunday. The opponents see it. The opponents feel it.
Right.
Mike White.
Right.
So Mike White elevates. Zach Wilson is in this weird purgatory reset, double secret probation timeout. It's not sustainable. It may be until the end of the season, but after that, they're going to have to do something, and I think Zach Wilson is going to be on the move. And if they don't do it, he's going to ask for it. And probably they've convinced him to just you don't need to say anything. You don't need to ask for a trade. Your agent doesn't need to leak to anyone that you want out after the season. We'll accommodate you. We just want to get through this season. And there may be a time where we need you to play, and we just need to work together until the end of the season. I feel like that's where it's headed. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.